I survived 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. That's equivalent to 33 hours of real-time gameplay. And what's even more crazy is that I've never played hardcore Minecraft in my life, so this is going to be my first. Before we get started, I want to set myself a couple of challenges, and I want to set the bar quite high. The first thing I want is to have a full set of nether armor and tools. Then I want to go out into the end and defeat the Ender Dragon, and with that, get an Elytra. And last but not least, get a fully working beacon in my base. So if this sounds like fun, be sure to stick around to the very end of the video. And with that being said, let's just get the challenge started. And just like that, day number 1 started. The standard procedure was get some wood, so that's exactly what I did. I crafted up a wooden pickaxe just to be able to go and create a full stone set of tools. And let me tell you one thing, luck was with us from the very beginning. We found iron a couple seconds into starting the world, and I had enough to craft an iron pickaxe and sword in the future. If I wanted to survive, I needed food, and quite a lot of it, so I killed a ton of pigs and sheep, and also the sheep were especially useful as they gave me wool, which I was able to use in the future to craft a bed when night comes around. I wanted to be sure to grab some resources such as coal to be able to craft torches and smelt things in a furnace, and I came across this very annoying skeleton, and eventually I decided to YOLO it and go and attack it. And I switched to the axe by accident here, and it kind of got close to dying, but not really. Trust me, in the future I get much closer to death, so be sure you stick around to that point. This biome had so much coal, and I just tried to take advantage of that. After I got enough, I traveled. I wanted to look for a place where I was going to build my base, and I couldn't really find it in the beginning, and eventually night caught up with me, so I was forced to create a bed and sleep on the edge of a cliff on the very first day, which was definitely quite a weird and unique adventure. Day number 2, and I was just continuing where I left off with. I was traveling, and I went across the sea and ocean, and look what I saw by accident. Not only a stronghold, but an ocean monument right beside it. And I swear on my life, this is a completely random seed. In addition, the island beside the monument looked very nice, so I decided that I was going to build my base there. And just like that, day number 2 has come to an end. Next day, I gathered a ton of resources for building my base. I also set up my very first starter station, and I sorted out all of my inventory because it was looking quite messy and I wanted to keep everything clean. I then went and did a little bit of terraforming just to sort out some place for my base. I went down to the underground after that and got more iron. I really wanted to make sure that I have iron armor as soon as possible, as that would take quite a lot of the stress off of me. And eventually I was able to craft an iron chestplate and some iron boots, which made me feel quite a bit more comfortable. I spent the rest of my day just gathering a bunch of wood for my base. 8 o'clock hit and it was my bedtime. I had a quick chat with my fish friends, and then I proceeded to place a bunch of sugarcane that I found earlier. I did this because I thought I was going to need paper for my enchantment table, and I wanted to get enchantments as soon as I could. I found some more iron, which I obviously needed to build the rest of my armor. I knew that I was going to need glass for my base, so I went out and got some sand, which I was then going to smelt in the furnace. I took a break just to look at some of the guardians. They were absolutely ruthless, but I knew that I had to get back to work. I was flattening a good chunk of the land there just to be able to build my base on top of it. And after that, I actually started work on the base. And this is what it was kind of looking like in the beginning. I knew that I needed to spice it up a little bit, so I added some details in about the place, and then I started work on the first floor of my base. At this point, I had enough iron to craft the full iron armor set, which was an accomplishment in itself, to be honest. I felt much safer and I was a little bit more creeper proof. I continued work on my base, and I was adding some flooring, I was adding stairs to the first floor, and also the windows. And then all of a sudden I got attacked by a bunch of pillagers. So I was having none of that, so I decided to give them all of my action, whatever. So I just kind of tried to kill them there. They hit me good a couple of times, but clearly they had no idea who they were dealing with. Otherwise, they would have never even came any close to my perimeter. Eventually, the last guy, the leader, I killed him, and I got the banner. I placed some storage up top, and then I headed down underground yet again. I had to fight this creeper right here. Luckily, he didn't kill me yet. But let me tell you one thing, I was so cautious of creepers It was kind of crazy. Like I basically had a fourth sense just to detect creepers themselves. I had to fight a bunch of skeletons as well as zombies. There were so many mobs. It was kind of annoying. And this being a hardcore world, I just didn't want to die and start over again. But basically, I just spent the rest of the day mining iron. When I got back home, I smelted everything and I just dedicated this day just on sorting out stuff. And to celebrate me surviving 1/10 of the challenge, I decided to go outside and look at this beautiful sunset. I built up some courage to go over to the stronghold just to check how many ender eyes I would need, and there was 2 in there already, which meant that I only needed to find 10 more ender pearls. I surfaced back up to the top and I went on a little journey. I wanted to see what areas were around the house, and I saw this structure over here, and beside it was a drowned with a trident. So in the effort of trying to get a trident, I wanted to kill it, but unfortunately he didn't drop it. But there was a chest inside of the building, and I got nothing good there. So that's kind of disappointing, I know. But at least I made friends with this bear. Or, well, he didn't really like me. Bad Timmy. I discovered more new things, and I saw this shipwreck. I got 1 bit of TNT from it, which was the only good thing really. But also, out of this lagged chest, I managed to get a buried treasure map. Did I go to it? No, because I just wanted to kind of save it for later. I found 2 bits of gold beside this obsidian portal as well, which was obviously a nice bonus. I then traveled back home to my beautiful island. On day 17, I saw this creepy creeper. I'll stop. The next couple of days I spent under the ground. I was basically just gathering a bunch more resources, such as lapis, redstone, and then also eventually diamonds. Finally, after so long, I finally found my first diamonds. I thought there was only 2 in the beginning, but then, as I dug more around, I found 4, which was quite nice. I was able to craft a diamond pickaxe, but I got back to mining after that. On day 21, I crafted my very first diamond pickaxe of this series. Quite a good moment, but I realized that I had no food on me. Like, literally had 3 bits of steak. So I needed to go and make myself a sustainable source of food. That was wheat in my case. That was just gonna get me through the next couple of days, and I was planning on upgrading it in the future. I then went down and started digging, just digging underground. Jokes aside, I went strip mining yet again, and I found some gold this time, which was going to be useful for trading with the hoglins. And more diamonds, that's right. I only had 1 left after I crafted the pickaxe, so 4 more diamonds were very nice. I then went and got obsidian because I now had enough resources to create an enchanting table, which was what I was aiming for. It was taking too long to make all the books myself, so I came up with this genius idea that I was going to steal books from the library inside of the stronghold. So that's exactly what I did. On day 26, I set out on a journey, on a very scary journey. I had to fight so many mobs during this time, but eventually I found the library. It was guarded by this creeper, but I eventually took care of him. So that was fine, and the library was mine. So I took a bunch of books, and after I was finished, I simply surfaced back up the top like nothing has happened. I robbed the stronghold, and hopefully the karma wasn't gonna get me back. These creepers decided to just gang up on me over here, so it was kind of scary. There's like 4 around me, and I didn't feel too comfortable, not gonna lie over there. But eventually I showed them who the real boss is, and obviously that's me. I crafted all the bookshelves because I was so excited, because I was gonna be able to enchant my diamond pickaxe now. But since it was basically just a way to break, I decided to use the remaining diamonds I had to craft another diamond pickaxe. But I didn't have enough levels for it, so I went down to the mines yet again just to get to level 30, which is what I did, and then I came back and went straight to the enchanting room. And this was the moment of truth. I needed to get a good enchantment, and oh my god, this was literally the best thing that I could have hoped for. Unbreaking 3, Fortune 3, and Efficiency 4. Literally one of the best enchantments you can get. On day 28, I saw this invisible spider, and I also enchanted my armor, as you can see. And this is going to be pretty important in the future, and you'll see why if you watch till the end. But I went down with my brand new pickaxe and wanted to get a bunch of diamonds to be able to craft a full diamond armor set. And Fortune 3 made this quite easy. I also found this mine shaft, and I call it a diamond mine shaft because the amount of diamonds that I found there was pretty insane. And in no time, I was on 43 diamonds, which was more than enough to craft everything that I needed. So I literally crafted everything basically. All of the armor and all of the tools. Later on I even crafted a diamond hoe. That's how rich I was. However, because I had my iron gear enchanted, I decided to keep that on and just wait until I level up to then enchant my diamond gear. But I knew that that was gonna take a lot of XP. And so, because of that, I came up with this genius idea of building a mob spawner. And I built that up pretty high up in the air, and it was so scary. I spent a couple of days on this, a good chunk of time, and I made a mistake. I forgot to light up the base. And let's just say that a couple of mobs spawned there, including a creeper, which blew everything up. And at this point, I started panicking. Little did I know this was only the start of my problems. I started patching up the hills, and as I wanted to go down, I was absolutely surrounded by mobs, especially creepers. There was a ton of them. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know what to do at that point. Until the skeleton came over and knocked me down. A bunch of creepers exploded. And at this point, I paused the game, basically crying because I knew that I was gonna die at this point and everything was gonna just disappear. Another creeper blows up and I'm on 1.5 heart, literally shaken at this point, not knowing what to do. I just go and eat. It was complete and utter panic. I remember the enchantments that I put on my armor. Literally that saved me. Without these enchantments, I would have been dead now, and this video, you wouldn't be watching this video. But I sprinted home and I was back to safety. In order to lower my stress levels, I decided to go down and just mine some stuff and just relax and play some music whilst doing that. But then I got my stuff together and I got back up into the sky and started working on my mob spawner yet again. And again, one little mistake and everything could end if I fall off of the structure. I was running incredibly low on cobblestone, so therefore I decided to use other materials such as andesite to build the rest of it. And finally, after days of hard work, it was complete, and I was able to benefit off of the absolute insane amounts of XP and loot that this farm was gonna give me, and this was gonna be very useful later down the line as well. I had an intruder in my house. He did not knock on the door, so I killed him. Honestly, so rude these days. And I built a grindstone, and you can see where I'm going with this now. I went downstairs and I knew that it was time to start enchanting my armor. And I was really excited for this moment because then that meant that I wouldn't really have to worry about creeper explosions, which was I was terrified about. The store didn't have any good enchantments, but eventually my leggings got protection 4 on Unbreaking 3, which was fantastic. And same with the diamond boots, and also Depth Strider 3 just as a little bonus. But because I was working at height so much, I decided to make another pair of boots and try to get feather falling on it. That was a must for me. So fortunately, I managed to get feather falling too. So I took it and then I tried to combine both of these boots into one to give me boots that are pretty OP if you ask me. And I put on the boots and the leggings. I didn't have enough XP to enchant the chest plate with the head torch, so I spent the next day just grinding for XP yet again at our mob spawner. After quite a boring day, I decided that I was gonna look for some adrenaline, and I was decently happy with the armor that I had, so I put on a golden helmet and I went into the Nether. It was the time to go and explore and maybe try to find a fortress. However, little did I know, I was gonna spawn right beside one. This is one of the luckiest seeds I've ever played on in Minecraft. I swear to God, it's random. I swear down on my life. I built a little protection hub around my portal just in case a ghast decides to shoot at it and just completely block me out of the world. But I then just went kind of exploring. I wasn't too confident because I knew that one mistake and everything was over. I went out into the fortress and I saw some wither skeletons talking and chatting, but I wasn't really feeling a fight on that day. I knew that we had a blaze spawner basically right beside our portal, which was obviously nice for getting blaze rods, but the rest of the day I spent getting glowstone and quartz, as that would be kinda nice to have. After I came back, I had enough XP to enchant the rest of my armor. I got quite bad enchantments on my chestplate, however the helmet was an absolute thumbs up. Protection 3, Respiration 3, and Unbreaking 3, that was pretty nice. And the amount of time that I spent trying to get good enchantments on my diamond sword is kind of ridiculous. It was just one of these curses of this world that I couldn't get a good enchantment on the sword. I enchanted it countless amount of times. Day 48, I was trading with the hoglins. I had a bit of gold left and I tried to see if I can get any extra ender pearls. Day 49, I was gathering some resources. I wanted to decorate my base a little bit and I thought that crimson would do the job just fine. And then I also got some blackstone, being very cautious of the ghast behind me. When I got back home, I put my newbie building skills to the test and I decided to decorate my portal room. I was basically just placing blocks randomly, hoping they would look cool, and in the end it was alright I guess if you turn shaders on, but overall I still need to work on my building quite a lot. Day 50 was just getting resources. Day 51 I was building my storage room because I never really had a proper one, and this is what it was kind of looking like. It wasn't looking too bad. I tried to use jungle wood because I was in a jungle biome. I thought it kind of just made sense to do so. But suddenly I got enlightened and I thought of this amazing idea. For this I needed a ton of sand and some tropical fish, and I think you know where I'm going. I wanted to build like a little pond below the storage room. Didn't really turn out too well. It was glitching about and overall it just didn't really look the best, but I left it for a little bit to see if I was gonna like it in the future. I sorted out my stuff and then I went out exploring a little bit more. I found another shipwreck and another buried treasure map. I'm gonna need to come back to this and look for the treasure later in the future. Apart from that, I was just getting some more jungle wood. I just thought it'd be useful in the future as well. And then I found this parrot, and no matter how many seeds I gave it, it did not want to be tamed. So eventually I thought to myself that he could be a spy, so I killed him. You know, you can never take chances in these days. Then I got working on another project. I'm making a ton of fences. I just wanted to make a massive fence around my house. A fence that would keep me safe at night from all of the mobs. I did a little bit of terraforming just because the land was in the way and placed some decorations. And guess what? On day 59 I spent the whole day grinding for XP yet again. That was all because I just wanted to enchant my sword, and guess what? I couldn't get any good enchantments on it. I enchanted it so many times and no matter what I did, it didn't want to enchant. I fixed up my diamond pickaxe because it was running low. I still didn't have mending. I wanted to get that in the future, but eventually I managed to get a sword that has got looting 2 on it, which was nice. But remember the little project on my storage room? I didn't like it, so I had to change it afterwards, and I had to fight this annoying ghast again. And this is how the storage room looked after, much better than before in my opinion. Day 61 to 66 I spent gathering dirt. Why was that? Well, I was planning on building a massive farm for my crops. I wanted to also grow carrots and potatoes as well as the wheat. So this farm, it took me quite a lot of time and quite a lot of resources to make. Unfortunately, I had to cover up this lake here, but it was fine because I still had a spare one on the ranch, as I can say. It took me so long to make this farm. It's kind of crazy. It was supposed to be a bit smaller, but it came out a bit bigger. I needed so much dirt that I had to destroy the whole hill that was at the side. Not hill, it was a mountain. And then I placed some crimson slabs at the side of it. I just thought it kind of made it look kind of unique. And overall, this is what it was looking like in the end. I planted a ton of wheat seeds, carrots, and then also potatoes that I got from the zombie spawns in my mob spawner. Day 68, it was just back in the strip mines. I was just gathering more resources such as iron and diamonds. On day 69, I was just trading with a bunch of hoglins. I was just trying to get the final ender pearls that I needed for the ender dragon fight. On day 70, I went out a little bit to gather some spruce wood. And whilst I was doing that, I was meted by some phantoms. But that was a good thing because I was able to actually get a phantom membrane from killing one of them. When I came back home, it was time to start preparing for the ender dragon fight, since I had enough ender pearls at that point. So this is what my final loadout looked like. I had fireworks because I wanted to get the elytra as soon as I defeated the ender dragon. I said goodbye to my home as it could be the last time that I see it, and I went into the stronghold. And it was the moment. It was the moment that was going to make the portal that was going to take me through to the end. And all it took was to place all of the ender eyes in the right positions. And with some hesitation, I placed the final ender eye in the portal. And now it was just me and the dragon. So, I dug up, and the first thing I wanted to do is to clear out all of the end crystals on top of the towers. The shorter towers were quite easy to get, however, I did then later on have problems getting the end crystals off of the higher towers. When the dragon shot its dragon's breath at me, I decided to use the opportunity to collect it and complete an achievement. Things started looking a little bit better for me. I started destroying more and more towers, especially the ones that were guarded around. However, the dragon was still far away from being defeated. So what I did is I climbed up on one of the highest towers. I was risking quite a lot because if the dragon knocked me off here, then that could have ended up really badly. But eventually I got up to the top, and from here I had a very clear view on the remaining end crystals, and just like that I was able to get the last end crystal, and now the dragon was fully mine. I started taking some critical hits on it with my bow, but I decided to go down to the ground just in case the dragon knocked me off. Quite a lot of my shots were missing the dragon, so I knew that I had to improve my accuracy. Then the dragon went down to the ground, so I knew that this was the time that I could do a lot of damage, so I took out my sword and went over to the dragon's tail and started taking some hits. However, the dragon knocked me up in the air. I would die of fall damage, but I decided to use an ender pearl to safely get down to the ground. And then eventually my aim was getting a lot better, and now I was hitting the dragon quite frequently. I knew that it'd only be a matter of hits before the dragon dies and I defeat it. Personally, I thought that this shot over here was quite cool. You know, definitely not luck over here. But then, the dragon was down to very, very low health, and I knew that literally I was 2 shots away from killing it. So I gave it all that I had. I started taking shots, but with all the panic, I was kind of choking quite a lot of them. And yeah, the dragon started going down, and now this was the final hit. And now I defeated the Ender Dragon in hardcore Minecraft. All that was left to do now is just sit back and collect all of the XP that I managed to get from it. And just look at the smile on my face over here. I was so happy with what I managed to achieve. After I collected the last bits of XP, I headed straight towards the portal towards the end cities. I built up to it using cobblestone. I made sure that I had my health fully regenerated, and I made the jump into the portal. And here we are spawning on an island in the end. I threw an ender pearl onto the mainland, hoping that I wouldn't die in the process, and fortunately, a couple seconds after walking, I find an end ship. Literally the best seed in the world. I kid you not. I used cobblestone to build up to it, and I still couldn't believe that I found this so quickly. We were literally seconds away from getting an elytra. All that I had to do now to get my hands on it is defeat the shulker right over here, and that was quite an easy task. Just before that, I quickly checked out the chests, and there was a very nice pair of diamond boots with mending on it. This would be something that I would definitely use in the future. But after that, it was time to get my hands on the mighty elytra. I put it on as soon as I could have, and I had the fireworks on me already. I had to battle this shulker over here. I was just doing that so that I could get some shulker shells to make shulker boxes. I couldn't forget about the dragon head, so I went out and quickly got that. That was a huge achievement on my hand. I went down to the other part of the end city, however, because it was so small, there was no chests. I did, however, find 2 shulkers on the bottom, and I got a shulker shell from one of these each. And then all of a sudden, one of the Endermen got really angry at me. Since I had my Elytra on, my armor was weakened. It started attacking me and I just couldn't kill it. I was down to 2.5 hearts and the water bucket saved my life. If I didn't have that on me, I would have probably been dead and this challenge would have ended over here. I felt so relieved when I saw that Enderman die. I didn't want to come close to dying again, so I decided it'd be about time to get back home. I remembered to get the dragon's egg as well. I got back to the portal, but I knew that I still had to do quite a lot more challenges. As soon as I got home, I started playing about with enchantments. I was enchanting a ton of books in a hope to get Unbreaking 3 on my Elytra. However, in the end, I only ended up getting Unbreaking 2, but that could be something that I change in the future. After that, I went over and made all of the shulker shells that I could have, which was only 2, but that was fine, that was enough for the time being. Unfortunately, the footage for the next couple of days has corrupted, but let me run you through what I did. From day 73 to 79, I went out, gathered a ton of TNT, and did some netherite mining. I managed to get 25 bits of ancient debris. From day 80 to 85, I went to the nether and I was trying to get wither skulls. That was so that I could spawn in the wither. And then on day 86, I defeated the wither. I'm so sorry that I can't get this footage. I promise I did this, and here is the place that I defeated him. On day 87, I decided to chill out a little bit. I wanted to build a stable for some of the animals I'm gonna have on this farm. I made friends with a cow, sheep, and I brought them into the farm. And later on, I also made friends with a chicken. Since I now had the nether star from the wither, I knew that it was time to build a beacon. However, there was a problem. I had nowhere near enough resources to build it. I was gonna need around 163 blocks to build it. So, for the next couple of days, I was just in caves gathering a bunch of iron, gold, and diamonds to be able to actually build the full beacon. I also came across the zombie spawner and I thought it was just kind of cool. I got a saddle from it. But for the rest of the time, I was literally just going from cave to cave, gathering every single bit of iron that I could find. Once I got home and smelted everything up, I realized that I was missing a couple of pieces, so I went back down into the mines to gather more. And eventually, I had everything that I needed and I started building the beacon. And this was the moment that we've all been waiting for. I placed down the beacon and there we go. It is now working and we now have a beacon. This is now 2 out of the 3 challenges that I set myself in the beginning. I still need to get a netherite axe and a netherite shovel. But before I went to the nether, I decided to do a little bit of work on my house. I kind of changed up the enchantment room and made it look a little bit better and made this little random water thing. Then I went to the nether on day 95 and I started placing a ton more TNT to try to get 5 more bits of netherite. I found 1 ore of ancient debris over here, another one over here just while strip mining, just by luck, another bit over here just beside the lava pool, and another bit just while strip mining over here. That was pretty lucky, not gonna lie. After this, I only needed 1 more bit. I was completely out of TNT and my pickaxe was a way to break. I really wanted to give up at this point as I didn't want my pickaxe to break. However, just as I was away to stop, I found the one last bit of ancient debris. I was super happy at that point and I got back to my base. I could finally complete this challenge by turning all of my tools into netherite. I started off with the axe and then with the shovel. And now I had the full set of everything. Days 97 to 99, I was just doing bits and bobs, sorting out my inventory and just doing a little path in my house, just these little cosmetic works. And there it was, day 100, and we have completed all of the goals that I set out in the beginning. So if you guys did enjoy this video, I would highly appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This video took a ton of time to make. In fact, it took me over 50 hours to record and edit. So if you guys could leave a like and subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. But anyways, see you in the next one.